Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking NFL wildcard matchups heading to Nashville where the Titans host the Ravens. It's wildcard weekend in the NFL and we've got a special promo code. The code is WILD for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. The Ravens are favored on the road -3.5. The total is 54.5 or 55, depending on where you get it. Now, this is a rematch of a game that has already happened this season where the Titans won in overtime 30-24. And if you remember, the Titans also beat the Ravens in the playoffs last season. So you know the Ravens are probably going to be motivated to win. Not that, any team's not motivated to win in the playoffs. The Titans have been super hot to the over, 12-3-1. So a lot of things break down in this one. We've got Sean Higgs joining us to talk all about it. Sean, what jumps out to you when you see these numbers, this spread, and this total on this Ravens and Titans game?
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned a 12-3-1. It's just amazing because they're the number 2 rushing team. Like, Ravens are number 1 at 198, Titans number 2. But 41, 46, 31, 35, 45 the last 5 games. I'm throwing out that 16 in Green Bay because I was in a snowstorm, so
Right.
it's not something I'm used to playing in. And then on the other side, 38, 27, 40, 47, 34, you got the Ravens. And we were just talking a little bit before you came on about them having games postponed. I thought they were going to be a little out of sync. They came out of that postponement after that Steelers game, and it was just on. That offense just found itself, again, behind the run game. Lamar hasn't been passing as good as he was last year. It was great, MVP season he had there. It was an excellent season, not as good there. But you got to lean on the over here. I mean, that no pass rush from Tennessee, which, I mean, maybe you don't really need against the Ravens since they're not chucking it all over the place, but you want somebody to get after the quarterback a little, make a move. Maybe that helps them a little bit here because Lamar's going to run either way, so who knows? The defense has just been so porous and the offense has just been, a juggernaut here. I mean, we saw a little of it last year and everybody's like, is Tannehill for real? And Henry at 2,000 yards rushing, but I'm on the over here. I mean, they're going to score. We've seen them score against these guys twice in the playoffs in a huge game where you think revenge are going to come out and dominate them. They scored there too. So they're going to score. They're going to give up points. The Ravens are scoring. They have not stopped scoring in the last 2 months. So let's go over that 54.5.
Yeah, I am definitely on the Titans over train once again. The hottest over team in
Yeah.
all of the league, and I think that continues here just because even if you can't count on the Titans offense, which usually you can, the Titans defense is still going to give up a lot of points because even in blowout that you saw against the Browns, that game still went way over because the Titans even managed to put up points in garbage time. So even if you think the Ravens are going to roll over the Titans, which I don't think that they're going to, but I think the Titans are great at putting up points even when they're down. And it's just this secondary is so bad. I think this is a really good spot for Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he's had his struggles in the playoffs because if Deshaun Watson can carve up the Titans, if Matt Stafford can carve up the Titans, if Baker Mayfield can carve up the Titans, I think Lamar Jackson can do the same, and especially with this run game that's so potent. And then on the opposite end, Derrick Henry has been running all over everyone. It doesn't matter who it is. 133 rush yards last time out. And 198 yards in the playoffs last season. I think both these offenses are going to have a day compared to a lot of these other playoff games that I'm looking at unders. I think this is a good spot for the over. Anything else you think is going to be an X factor here?
No, it's something we have to worry about. A lot of weather here. It should be fine. And as you mentioned, like, who would have thought Tennessee's going to be like the over team in the NFL this year when you have Breeze in a dome, although he wasn't healthy. You have the Packers,
Well, even
Aaron
Patrick
Rodgers, like
Mahomes.
50 touchdowns. Even the
Yeah.
Mahomes offense. Like, who had these guys? And the way the Bills have been playing, putting up points. But I mean,
Yep.
beginning year, you tell me that a team that is going to run Derrick Henry 3.5% of their 4 plays when they have the ball is
Right.
going to be the number 1 over machine. It's crazy. But
Well,
listen, hats off to that offensive line and Henry and whatever. I mean, you got to give
because
some to receivers. They're getting a little done too. But
yeah, because
good.
Derrick Henry wears down defenses. Yeah, he'll rush for 3 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, but you'll see in the second half, he wears down those defenses and he'll break off those huge runs where the
Yeah.
Titans can score early and often in the second half. And you could say the same thing about the Ravens rush attack. I think this will be a good game for Derrick Henry props, and a good game for J.K. Dobbins props probably as well. I think both run games are going to pile up the yardage, and Ryan Tannehill's been really good too. I know we haven't really touched on him, but he's been. Everybody said Ryan Tannehill regression year is due, and it hasn't been. He's been one of the more efficient passers in the league. The Ravens do have a good secondary, though, and they do have a good defense. So this is a tougher test for this Titans offense. But if you get Derrick Henry going, the rest is just gravy. So I think that's definitely the key here.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
So this should be a good one to watch. And as a Titans fan, I will be nervous, but that's going to do it for our NFL talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great insight from Sean Higgs. As always, Sean, thanks for joining us.